Hi guys, Ben here from Subi Shop. Just a quick video to show you how to install our carbon wrap trims. They are professionally wrapped in Avery Dennison and are basically ready to go into the vehicle, but some of you may not know some of the little techniques that we use to install them without breaking the pieces, so we're going to show you now. Alrighty guys, so to start with, all we do is get our fingers behind this main dash vent piece and you can pull it forward. Mine has a small gap because I have removed it in the past. So you just simply work it like that. And then on your way up, keep jiggling each corner. Don't just simply pull up because you will break something. And then it comes forward. And you'll see each of those clips and how they connect into the rest. You can move that now out of the way, which brings us to trying to get to this base piece here. So this section here above the instrument cluster just actually pulls forward. So just a little bit of effort, grip it, pull it forward. It'll come off like that. And if you come around to this section here, this piece was actually being held in by the cluster itself, which is now out of the way and ready to go for the next step. Okay, so the next step is to remove this side panel, which is really simple. Just a bit of effort on this corner. Push it forward and then bring it out. That's now out of the way. You'll see a Phillips screwdriver point right there, which I will now remove. Alright, so place that somewhere you're not going to lose it. Now this can simply just come forward, and there's little clips that hold this all the way along. You just need to gently work your way along and pull forward. Go. It's now come loose, and the same with this top section up on this corner. I'm just going to be pulling it forward like that. Now once you've released all of those points, you'll have access to everything here. We're just going to get the Phillips screwdriver and remove those 4 screws and then move that out of the way. Just ignore this cord here. It's actually part of a wireless charger that I have in this car, which you can see in one of our other videos and also grab from our store. Once those are undone, you'll see 2 points here. Just get your thumb, push down on both, and it will release. And there you have it. Okay, so now we have our carbon trim. And you obviously just need to remove your old vent, which we might get away with just a fingernail underneath here. If not, screwdriver under that point, lift it up a little bit, and then it will simply pop out nice and easily. Move that out of the way. To put it back in, quite simple. Put the base piece in first. Make sure it lines up, and then just push a little bit below those points. Obviously ensure that this is in the correct hole and not facing the wrong way, and then just push it forward. And there you have that installed nice and easily. Let's move on to the rest. Now we move on to putting the AC controls back in, which is quite simple. Make sure down the bottom you'll see a little point there, which I will try and point to with my finger, that needs to line up. It's the same on both sides. So you just want to line those up. We have it. So I don't know if you can see there, those have lined up to those 2 points so that they won't break off. And then making sure you don't scratch any of this face piece, just going to work around and just push it on at these top points. There we have it. So that's clipped on. Look at the front, it's all fine. Now we're going to go around and reattach the screws, whilst making sure we don't scratch this freshly wrapped trim against anything. Okay, that's all secure. I'm just going to gently fold this back up, make sure this cord is out of the way, which you won't have in your car, but in case you have anything else, just make sure it's all clear. line up that vent. We're just going to work our way around, starting at this top right corner. You'll see this point here needs to line up with a section of the dash. Alright, that's in. Now we're just going to gently push around until everything lines up. You might have to give it a bit of a wiggle as well, make sure things aren't out of place. So on this top point here, I'll just bring the camera around. So this tab here often struggles to line up with this point here, so you want to make sure you don't force it. So when I put the rest of this back into place, lining up those other tabs, I will get around to that point here. I'm just going to look a little bit closer and make sure that it's in. Okay, so that's in. So now I can work my way around and just gently clip it into place. Our pretty shiny new one, and then just gently sit it in place, and you'll sort of feel where it sits nicely, and then you're just going to start clicking it in. Obviously don't force it, because if it's not perfectly positioned you might snap clips off, so just gently work your way around to make sure everything is cooperating. Done, just like that, with one screw left to put in the center. Piece here, just make sure you slide it behind the rubber and then line up these yellow points at the top and bottom, and you are done. One thing I forgot to show you is, as well as this cluster surround, there's also this trim here, this base piece, which if you don't undo can get caught on this little bottom section and could break your trim. So all you do to remove this is the opposite of putting it back in. Just grab from this piece underneath and then put another finger up a little bit higher and pull it forward and down, and that will give you clearance for this section here. Alright, I'm just going to show you how to remove this small corner vent piece and swap it out with the carbon trim type. So first of all, you have to remove this cluster surround piece up the top, which you just simply grab firmly, pull forward, like that. Now, it might help to remove this lever down the bottom. So push it down, and you can move your steering column up and down. Put it to its lowest point so you've got as much room as possible. And once you've done that, you've removed that surround piece. You have one more piece off to the side. Just put a bit of pressure there, push outwards, that will pop off. You have one screw there with a Phillips screwdriver, which I'll remove now. Put it somewhere you're not going to lose it. Just simply grab this vent, give it a wiggle, pull it towards you. Now it's going to get a little bit caught on this corner, so just make sure you have some fingers under that edge, giving it a bit of gentle persuasion. There we go. Alright, now that's not actually connected to anything, so it'll just come straight out. Alright, just a quick one to show you how to put this mirror control switch in. Just simply get my hand, put it behind here, and push on the points where the cord actually touches it, and it will pop out just like that. Once you've done that, I'm just going to go through and undo these points here. Now they just have little tabs that you need to push on, but also put pressure undoing those plugs. Try not to scratch too much of your trim here. Whilst rotating it around, push this one, and don't worry about the placement because you can't really get them wrong. Once we've got this piece off, you can grab your mirror control switch with the carbon wrap ready to go. Simply plug these straight back in. Make sure they're clipped in properly, otherwise you're going to put it all back together and things aren't going to work. Then we're just going to place this bottom section in first, making sure these two pieces are on top. Once they're on top and lined up, just put a little bit of pressure in your fingers and everything will clip into place nicely. And then we just need to swap this section, the actual vent, into the surround. You can get away with simply putting a screwdriver under each point whilst putting a bit of pressure pushing this piece out that way. So let's just do that quickly. Don't put too much pressure because obviously it will break the clip. So somehow find that perfect midpoint and then give it a wiggle. There you are. So we'll put our old trim off to the side, grab our carbon wrap trim, place this in here, making sure everything lines up. We get those bottom pieces in first, and then simply push it all together. There we are. And now that that's all together, grab this, put it over. Now it's hard to stuff this up, but just make sure that everything is lined up and you're not going to break any clips. Gentle push, and then just grab your screw from earlier, place it into here. Now we're going to get our cover, we're going to put that back on. Make sure you tuck this edge underneath the rubber first. Line up these yellow clips. Once that's all lined up, push on like that. We'll get our cluster surround. Now you need to line up the base section first, just like that, and then push that in. Now look at the top and make sure that these points are tucked in. Bit of a push, and there you have it.